I think the majority of people are in denial about how overwhelmed and overstimulated they are. And there's such a draw towards that chaos, or towards just continuing on whatever we've been doing to manage our lives. And yet we're so craving, so hungry for peace, like a true peace, not a peace that comes from accomplishing one more thing or being whatever idea we have of ourselves in our head, but true peace. And the reality is that getting to that place is a total undoing of ourselves. I guess it is a beautiful process, but it's a very painful process, but very rewarding, because there's a richness that comes from coming back to ourselves. There's a richness that comes from the willingness to be with ourselves and whatever is coming up in any moment. And that's really where the foundation of that deep-seated peace starts to come from this place of not resisting ourselves, from not resisting even this human experience, but allowing ourselves to really soften into being honest about how we actually feel, the level of overstimulation or the level of overwhelm that we feel. And it's very easy to buy into this belief that everybody else is just so much more regulated than you, that they have already obtained that peace. And in a way, I guess that thought is just a reflection of how separate so many of us walk around feeling. But then there's kind of a contradiction here, because so many of us go out into the world and then we are there for about 5 seconds and we realize, oh no, wait, the state of the human condition is one of high stress, is one of living in a survival mode. The way that our society functions and what is rewarded is really a high degree of overstimulation. And then we go, okay, wait, maybe I'm not over exaggerating, and maybe it's not just me. And I think that that's where we really, like I was saying before, start to come into a place where we can even get close to that peace that I'm talking about. It's from the recognition that everybody, for the most part, is living in some sort of a state of denial, some sort of a state of fragmentation, some sort of a state of imbalance, or overwhelm or overstimulation. And that it really does take a profound level of action and seeking within the being to seek out the solution to our own pain and suffering, to literally become the vessel for that transformation to take place. But that really requires us to be in reality and not to tell ourselves that everybody else has it figured out, but to really be in reality that we are in some very dark times emotionally. The majority of people are not connected to themselves. So if you feel like you're coming home to yourself, if you feel like you're finally learning your energy for the first time, if you feel like you are choosing what actually brings you peace and balance over what society deems as good or worthy, then that is a success. That is where we want to continue to move. And it can be very challenging because we have this biological desire to belong, and yet we know that what we would be belonging to is fundamentally flawed and needs to be completely upended. We are in this really great time, this incredible time of transformation, and we need to remember that our power lies in reality, and the more that we can accept and be with all the layers that are looking to be evaluated, all the layers of ourselves that are coming up emotionally, mentally, the better off that we're going to be. And it's not just about being with that, but it's like listening to it. What is your specific pain telling you that you need to change? What is your specific pain telling you that you need to be a part of making a difference in this world? And instead of continuing to ignore this, right, like so many of us do, or suppress it or deny it or tell ourselves that we're being ridiculous, we need to really do what it takes to meet those needs, to find out what that pain is really telling us has to change. Because as uncomfortable as it is to rebalance our energy, there will be far greater consequences for continuing to hold a way of being in the body that is not actually conducive to life. We have to continue to choose life.